Milestones. What's a milestone? Well, you all know what milestones are. Those are milestones. Some are naturally occurring: birth, death. Some are big sacraments with a big S, like First Communion, confirmation, marriage. Some are small S sacraments. Each of them can have these elements. Some type of ritual or blessing, a home celebration, maybe a learning program at church or home, some kind of symbol, and some support for continuing growth. So it's easy with the big sacraments: birth, a baptism, First Communion, confirmation. But taking something like receiving your first Bible, not only a home activity, but a blessing at church. So I've worked with churches that have given, usually it's usually at 6 years old, 7 years old, they give their first Bible and they do it at Sunday Mass. It's very powerful, by the way. Very powerful for the adults. Everyone starts to wonder, where is our Bible? So I suggest following up the week later with the adult Bible, milestone, which is, here's an adult Bible. This is a Bible. Here's how you read it. Okay. Don't put it away. All right. So those are kind of the elements that go into it. And there's lots of great resources that already exist. I'll come back to this one in a minute. I have a good friend who works Milestones Ministry. And Debbie and David have done these are purchasable and downloadable online. They've taken milestones and they've done this with them. They've put the ritual at home and at church, the learning, the visual symbol, the resource, all into this little, I think usually about 6-8 page resource. But high school graduation, mission trip, family reunion, retirement. So milestones, transitions, significant moments when God's at work. I put a page on our website. I won't open the website up, but you can just put together resources that are just in time when you celebrate it. Baptism anniversary, starting school. Okay. They're things that people just normally do anyway. Wrapping faith formation, a ritual, a prayer, a blessing around those just brings out the God dimension of these. Okay? If you can bring church and home together around these, it just bumps these all up. So when I talk about things like, this is Westwood Lutheran Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They do, every age has a milestone. So they celebrate all those milestones every year. And it's just kind of built in. So the preschool ones, they're pretty easy. But in each grade level, they lift out an important milestone in faith growth. You don't have to be that, you could be much more, sporadic, if you will, periodic. But it's just how you can pattern this. So there's plenty of opportunities to take milestones, weave them in, make them an essential part of what you do. I put some samples online so you could see them. But it just lifts up these ordinary moments and makes them really special. Celebrate the seasons. I know this sounds like duh, but how many do? So not just the church year ones, but the calendar year ones. And what this does is, this takes us out into people's lives who are not church members. So if you bless animals on the Feast of St. Francis, everybody brings their animals. Pagans, everybody brings their animals. Okay? Because even if I'm not a churchgoer, my pet might get to heaven. There's a church near us, and this is a big, there's St. Francis Church, so, this is a no-brainer, right? They knew the people line up with their animals. I mean, it's just the most remarkable thing. And it's really the whole community's coming to have their animal. Well, they've got this wonderful ritual. They not only bless the animals, but they bless the family. They bless the children. They bless the parents, the grandparents. Single people bring their dogs. They bless. I mean, it's an amazing thing. Can you get much more simple than opening the church doors and blessing animals, or going out into the parking lot or the green or the park and blessing animals? It's just like, how could you? I mean, this is like it's an opportunity that's just sitting there waiting to be utilized. And then you can wrap it in the feast of this magnificent saint and talk about reverence for life and all the things that go with that. I mean, this is just sitting there saying, use me, and we just spin right by. So I put some examples, very simple ones, but if you think about what would it be like if you had just lifted up one event each month. Just one event each month. This is just a U.S. obvious example, but serving others in January to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Praying through Lent, that's easy. St. Patrick in March. Now, you could change these every year. Develop a couple of templates for these. April, New Life, with both Easter, also it's Earth Day. So think about the ways you can make this happen, because there's no lack of possibilities. And I know your Thanksgiving is in October, and July 4th would not be really very appropriate. Though you do have, what's your July? You have a July 1, right? Yeah, July 1. Yeah, okay. I knew you had something in July, so just swap that out. Seasons. All of the languages I've been using right now are languages that would not intimidate families. Milestones, seasons, faith, they're not churchy. Encountering God in the Bible. I want to emphasize number one. We talked about it already, so it's easy to do. And that is, this is a church that I work with, St. Elizabeth Hungary Church in Acton, Massachusetts, right outside Boston. And their intergenerational learning is built around the lectionary. So every month of intergenerational learning, they lift out a theme from the lectionary. So people are reading the scriptures, worshiping on Sunday. The homily on Sunday is geared towards that. And then the intergenerational 2-hour learning program that month is on that theme. I was there, I mentioned the Gospel of Mark. I was there in January one year, and it was a year in which they were doing the sacraments all year long. So they were doing all 7 sacraments, 7 months of learning, 7 sacraments. But they sequenced the sacraments, not in the traditional order, but when that sacrament would appear in a gospel reading that they could lift up. So third week of January that year, we were already into Mark's Gospel in ordinary time and the healing stories. Jesus is healing. They're coming from everywhere, he's healing. So they did anointing of the sick. The anointing of the sick, perfect, right? Most Catholics have no idea. Some of the old timers still think it's extra unction. Don't ask for that, because the next step is they beam you out. All right? And the younger you are, you know it's one of the 7, but it's not operative, because it's distant, supposedly. So they did this wonderful, so the Sunday readings for 3 or 4 weeks are all going to be healing stories. So the focus of the intergenerational learning program was on Jesus' healing ministry. And we're seeing that in the Gospel of Mark every Sunday. You're going to hear it in music, you're going to hear it in the homily. And then the church has a way in which it continues to live out that healing ministry. Now we do that in health care, we do that in pastoral care, but we do that in the anointing of the sick. So I'm there, I'm just happen to be there for this week, and sitting in. And so about 45 minutes or so of experience and interaction, talking in generations at table groups, and then everyone's invited to go upstairs to the church. Now we're talking about like 500 people going upstairs to the church. This is not a small gathering, 300 people. It's about 300 people. So it's a large gathering. And we're going to celebrate anointing the sick. So Walter Woods, the pastor, gets up and he said, I know you probably have not ever been to a community-wide anointing of the sick. And he does the ritual with people. And then he invites people to come up to be blessed and to be anointed. And I'm sitting way in the back. So and I'm watching old people, middle-aged people, and teenagers getting up to receive the sacrament. It is the most moving thing you'd ever see. Because he contextualizes that Jesus not only healed people physically, but in the stories, especially in the Gospel of Mark, he heals people psychologically, spiritually. Come and celebrate the sacrament. It was just powerful. Powerful. In ways that, I just sat there going, God, we should do this every year. As a community, it just was powerful. And I thought, now, when these people hear these healing stories of Jesus, their reference point is tonight and this sacramental action and how we continue Jesus' healing ministry today. And I thought, that's the power of the sacrament. That's the power of intergenerational learning. That's the power of the lectionary speaking, enacted. It was amazing. It just was amazing. You can imagine what they do if they did baptism on Lord's Sunday. A lot of water everywhere, all right? But it's enacted. It's not just a head thing. It's enacted. People experience it. They learn about it. They worship with it. They eat. They celebrate it, and it's all reinforcing. That's the genius of this. The intergenerational and the home are one big package. But it's a great example of encountering God in the Bible. Okay. So lots of examples here. Obviously, a family faith website, I think, is really important. Family festivals and gatherings, even if you don't do intergenerational learning regularly, do a fall festival, do a Lenten festival. What do you got to lose? Connect to Sunday worship, I think, is essential. Schedule a year-long plan for milestones. You just highlight them. Point them to the website. Make faith practice a seasonal focus. Like next Lent, pick a couple of practices. You can do praying, fasting, and almsgiving. That's fine. But pick a couple of practices that you want to bring out. And so people experience that on Sunday, maybe experience it in a family program, and have faith and have activities to do at home. Family immersion experience. I'm going to talk more about that with parents in a moment. Family immersion experiences. We need some opportunities where we can just get the whole family doing something together religiously. So if I had 3 to 5 days, I'd do a family camp. If I was doing vacation Bible school, I would do it as a family. Now, I know you can't bring people out all week, but maybe it's an evening thing. Maybe it's a Saturday thing. Okay? But I would try to do more whole family experiences. Now, you can't do them every week, you can't do them every month, but you can sprinkle them through the year. Like the intergenerational service, children are very able and capable of doing service if you can bring the whole family to do service together. So, more family immersion experiences, family retreat. I've been amazed at the growth of family camps. Not just dropping the kids off and getting a week off without the kids at home. Thank God they're gone. All right? But it's the whole family goes to camp. Powerful. A monthly seasonal event. And they did the next filter, whose kids were who were still active in their faith, practicing it. All right? So this is parents looking back, but they had to have children in this 18 to 30 crowd who are still actively engaged. And they asked parents this question: what made a difference? They didn't ask the kids, they asked the parents what made a difference. Here's the 9 things parents said. We participated in mission trips. We participated in service projects. Did I mention service a moment ago? Okay. We shared Christ with unbelievers. Lifeway.